Please be seated. Elks, veterans, and guests, the purpose of our service is to honor our country's flag, to celebrate its birth, to recall the achievements attained beneath its fold. It is quite appropriate that such a service be held by the Order of Elks, an organization that is distinctly American, intensely patriotic without counterpart. As Elks, we strive to promote welfare and happiness of mankind, to uphold our country and its laws, and to quicken the spirit of American patriotism. The American flag holds a special significance in Order of Elks. It's emblematic of our crowning virtue of charity. It stands for the symbol of justice for all, brotherly love, and fidelity. Charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity are the cardinal principles of our order, and they're exemplified in all our service. By them, we teach love of country, of our countrymen, and loyal to our American way of life. To be an Elk is to be an American citizen who lives for his country and is ready to die for it. Please stand for our chaplain, Melissa Winfield.
Almighty God, in this hour of patriotic observance of the birthday of the American flag, we ask you to bless our flag and the people of these United States. For all that our flag represents, both at home and abroad, we thank thee, and that through all our history as a nation, it has been an ensign of freedom, liberty, and opportunity. And through the years to come, may this flag wave as the banner of liberty, freedom, and enlightenment. May this service bring to each of us a sense of loyalty to our country and enable us to be better patriots, truer citizens, and more loyal Americans. To thy glory and to the honor of this great nation. Amen.
Please be seated. So that we may better understand the meaning of our flag, I call on Kevin Gage, the history of our flag.
Thank you all for coming this evening. Beautiful night, we're not sweating. So, a brief history of Old Glory. On January 1st, 1776, the Continental Army was reorganized in accordance with a congressional resolution which placed American forces under George Washington's control. On that day, New Year's Day, the Continental Army was laying siege to Boston, which had been taken over by the British Army. Washington ordered the grand Union flag hoisted above his base at Prospect Hill. It had 13 alternate red and white stripes and a British Union Jack in the upper left corner. On June 4th, 1777, to establish an official flag for the new nation, the Continental Congress passed the first Flag Act, resolved that the flag of the United States be made of 13 stripes, alternate red and white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, Congress passed several acts that changed the shape, design, and arrangement of our flag and allowed for additional stars and stripes to be added to reflect the admission of new states. The Act of January 13, 1794 provided for 15 stripes and 15 stars after May 1795. The Act of April 4th, 1818 provided for 13 stripes and 1 star for each state to be added to the flag on the 4th of July following the admission of each new state, signed by President Monroe. Executive Order of President Taft on June 24th, 1912 established proportions of the flag and provide arrangements of the stars in 6 horizontal rows of 8 each, a single point of each star to be upward. Executive Order of President Eisenhower, January 13, 1959, provided for the arrangement of the stars in 7 rows of 7 stars each, staggered horizontally and vertically. Executive Order of President Eisenhower on August 21, 1959, provided for the arrangement of the stars in 9 rows of stars staggered horizontally and 11 rows of stars staggered vertically. Since the inception of the flag, there has been, in over 250 years plus, there has been 63 revisions of the design of our flag. Today, the American flag consists of 13 horizontal stripes, 7 red, alternating with 6 white. The stripes represent the original 13 colonies, and the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The symbolism of the colors is as follows. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White symbolizes purity and innocence. Blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Thank you.
Now a music selection by the Kingston High School Alumni Choir. To better understand all this flag represents, I call on Lynn Churchill, past exalted ruler.
Our flag, the Stars and Stripes, flag of the United States of America. The worldwide hope of all who, under God, would be free to live and do His will. Upon its folds is written the story of America, the epic of the mightiest and noblest in all history. In the days when peoples of the old world groveled in abject homage to the heresy of the divine right of kings, a new constellation appeared in the western skies. The Stars and Stripes, symbolizing the divine right of all to life, liberty, happiness, and peace under endowment by their Creator. To what man or woman is given words adequate to tell the story of the building of this nation? That immortal story is written in blood and sweat, in heroic deeds and unremitting toil, in clearing the primeval forests and in planting vast prairies where once the coyote and buffalo roamed. Onward swept the nation, spanning wide rivers, leaping vast mountain ranges, leaving in its path villages and farms, factories and cities, till at last this giant nation stood astride the continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This is the heritage of the people of the United States. It has been repurchased by each succeeding generation and must be re-won again and again and again until the end of time. Lest it too shall pass like the ancient empires of Greece and Rome. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. What was won at Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill had to be repurchased at Ticonderoga and Yorktown. What our troops achieved under the Stars and Stripes at Chateau Thierry in Flanders in World War I, their sons were required to repurchase in World War II in the bloody trek across northern Africa, on the beachheads of Europe, and in the Battle of the Bulge. Our young people were again called to carry our flag in the defense of a free world in the actions in Grenada and Panama. Willingly, our brave men and women carried our flag in the honor of the American people into battle in Operation Desert Storm And who among us will ever forget the sight of firefighters raising our flag over the ruins of the World Trade Center? The military personnel draping our flag on the side of the Pentagon, or the citizens of Somerset County, Pennsylvania, placing our flag near the site where brave Americans died fighting the hijackers of Flight Number 93. No other symbol could have offered such comfort. Today, American armed forces carry our flag in the villages of Iraq, the mountains of Afghanistan, and the jungles of the Philippines, and wherever terrorism may reside. Their struggle against the sponsors of terrorism is the hardest battle yet, and this threat to our nation and to our way of life is certainly as great a challenge as our flag has ever seen. The resurgence of patriotism since September 11, 2001 has rekindled respect for our flag. Today, we see the Star-Spangled Banner wherever we turn, on homes, businesses, automobiles, and billboards. Such displays stimulate our love for our nation and for what it stands. They remind us of the sacrifices being made by the men and women of our armed forces around the world. And they are a tribute to the heroes of the police and fire departments the nation over. The greatest significance of this flag, however, lies in the influence it has in the hearts and minds of millions of people. It has waved over the unparalleled progress of a nation in developing democratic institutions, scientific and technological advances, of knowledge, education, and culture. It has served as a beacon for millions of poor and oppressed refugees abroad, and stands the promise that the underprivileged shall never be forgotten. What is the meaning of the flag of the United States? There can never be a definitive answer to that question. There are people in this world who see it as a symbol of imperialism. Others see it as a destiny of the people. The reference to these and similar views of the flag was resolved by Woodrow Wilson when he said, "This flag, which we honor and under which we serve, is the emblem of our unity, our power, our thought, and shape of this nation. It has no other character than that which we give it from generation to generation. The choice are ours. Only love, true love of our fellow man, can create peace. The emblem and token of that love is the stars and stripes, the symbol of the American way of life."
Just in case, I have to say this because I don't trust the weather. It looks nice now, but in the event it should turn cloudy and the rain starts, bring your chairs to the back. We have a pavilion and refreshments later. I want to talk a little bit about our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Did I have the scouts come up as well? Come on, up here, what, up here. All the way up. Would you please stand for the pledge? Now, you just said to the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. The Pledge of Allegiance to our country, you hear a lot, and what does it really mean? I pledge allegiance. I promise to be true to the flag, the sign of our country, of the United States of America, each state that is joined to make our country, and to the republic. A republic is a country where people choose others to make laws for them. The government is for the people, for which it stands. The flag means the country. One nation, a simple country, under God. The people believe in a supreme being, indivisible. The country cannot be split into parts, for liberty and justice, with freedom and fairness for all, for each person in this country, you and me. You may be seated. We have two heroes in our city of Kingston that one served in World War II, the other served in the Korean War. When we talk about World War II, the last ship that was sunk in 1945, August of 1945, was John Forte, who lived in Kingston, who was a Republican all those years ago. There were 47 sailors killed on that ship when it was hit by a Japanese bomber. John laid in the water, hanging on to an oil can. He came home, raised a family, and wouldn't you know, he's the grandfather of Pat Ryan. Think about that. Our new county exec. Now we have another one who was Frankie Flutico, who was in the Korean War, and he was one of 113 men who went up to what they call Jane Russell Hill in the Korean War. Only 13 came back, and Frankie was one. He had a barbershop years ago on Greenhill Avenue. For 50 years, he cut haircuts. It was a standard haircut. So I did a calculation. I talked to Mary Ann DeGroat to kind of figure out how many haircuts he did in 50 years. And thinking about all the conversations, political, baseball, whatever was happening at the time, and talking to the guy sitting in the chair, I figured out to be 450,000 guys came in and had their haircuts. What a wonderful way to have conversation about our community and our world at one time. But remember, only 13 came back. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. It's Bill Forte. He's president of the Kingston Veterans Association, so please give him a rousing hand.
Good afternoon. I would like to give you my perspective on the American flag, a little about its origin and its importance to veterans and its symbolism. As you have heard and learned, the flag was created during the American Revolutionary War. There are various myths about the meaning of the colors red, white, and blue. But the fact is, all these meanings were assigned many years after the flag was created. When you get right down to it, there's only one logical reason the American flag was red, white, and blue. Our former rulers, the British, and our staunchest allies at the time, the French, both had red, white, and blue flags. Of course, that could be up for discussion. Its importance to veterans and its symbolism are tied together. You may have heard it said that the military salutes the flag, serves under the flag, and their coffin is draped with the flag. All true. We used to be taught in grade school about Betsy Ross and the evolution of the flag, the Grand Union flag, Old Glory with its 15 stripes and stars, and how the flag was restored to its original 13 stripes when they realized it would just look ridiculous if we continued to add more stripes. We were also taught to stand and place our hand over our heart during the Pledge of Allegiance, or when the flag passed by as in a parade. And doing this didn't appear to offend anyone back then. It appears we have now evolved to an era where everything offends somebody. It's not a religious gesture. It's just a sign of respect for the flag and all it stands for. When we in the military take our oath of enlistment, there is always a flag present. We pledge to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to obey the orders of the President of the United States and those officers appointed over us. This too, of late, has offended some people. But as we serve around the world, But as we serve around the world, in combat or not, the flag is a heartwarming symbol of what we left behind and what we hope to return to. It brings to mind, to use an old adage, mom, home, and apple pie. Upon returning to base after a hard day or days in the field or on patrol, the sight of the flag is a welcome one. It lets us know that we have made it through another day and that we are closer to returning to our loved ones. It serves as a constant reminder of why we serve and who we are. And when we do return home, it is a symbol of all that we fought for and all that we missed. But beyond the military, to an ever-decreasing segment of our population, and to people of other countries around the world, it is a symbol of the greatest nation on earth, ever. The sight of it brings out hope, envy, excitement, and fear. Hope to the masses that peacefully invade our country each day. Envy by those that know what we have created and wish to have the same. And fear to those that would alter or destroy our way of life. Is it merely a piece of cloth with a unique design? Not on your life. It has been to the moon and back. Millions of soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, policemen, and firemen have worn it proudly on their sleeves. And millions of veterans have had it draped over their coffins as they are laid to rest. Burn it and protest if you must, but be sure to look around you first, for its symbolism is such, and it is loved and respected by so many, that there are still those that would do more than just strike you down for your act of disrespect. And I'd like to add to this, happy 244th birthday to the United States Army. Thank you very much.